Okay, now let's start. Okay, so let's start with the basic uh, moves e4 and e5. 1 minute, children.
Yes, sir.
So basically it starts with e4 and e5. So we are only seeing that Vihan, can you reconnect, please? Vihan, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Vihan? Okay, let's see. E4, E5. Okay. From here, there are a lot of possible openings starting from knight F3. Okay. Knight F3, there are lot of possibilities. One is D6, which leads to Philidor opening. Yeah, right or wrong? Yeah.
Sir.
And knight F3, knight F6 leads to Petrov opening. Okay, which we will discuss in the later classes, not now. So there are other moves also, like basically irregular moves also, but we will not discuss this. Okay, F6 can be easily punished with this, right? F6 we can punish it with knight into E4, something like that. And yeah, and you can like this. Yeah, you can simply kill it, takes it, queen check. Okay, if king moves, then you can simply play queen takes E5. Yeah, king
What
bishop
if
here, and slowly you can
sir,
mate the
what if
king.
he
Yeah,
blocks with the sir? What if he blocks with the
king
pawn?
F5. Sorry,
Sir, what if he blocks with the pawn?
if you don't take the pawn, that is if you simply play like here bishop pawn to g6, then simply you can take on e5 and you can win the rook. Okay, so you gave knight plus you gave got two pawns plus knight plus rook. That is simply a winning position. Yeah, yes or no? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now see, we will not discuss on this. That today's topic is about Italian game. Italian game starts from e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. And here also we have lot of variations, like bishop b5 leads to royal lepage. Yeah, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
have
sir.
also discussed a complete opening on d4, which is Scotch game, right? Yes or no? We have
Yes,
that
sir.
total opening on that Scotch game and how you can play Scotch. Okay. So we have already discussed a long time ago Scotch, and I gave a detailed version of Scotch in the last time. Okay. Now, if you're not watched that Scotch game, then I will give you the link and you can watch it later. You can give me a message about that. Okay. Now comes the move called bishop c4, which we call as Italian game, right? Okay. Italian game starts with bishop c4. Okay. bishop c4, and
Yes.
which there are some players where they will play knight c3. Okay, here they will play knight c3. Okay, here knight c3 is not good. Because the reason of knight c3 I don't understand here. Why you have to play knight c3? Tell me. Because of this knight c3, lot of problems occur before bishop c4. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now generally when the knight c3 will come after the knight f6. Yeah, okay, knight c3. Okay, and opponent played knight c6. Now you play bishop c4. Now the problem here is black can play knight takes c4, giving a sacrifice. If you take it, what happens? d5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Double
then
attack.
bishop to d3, pawn can take on. Now fork, you are getting he gave a knight and he is forking it, both of them. Okay, then you can take it, takes it, and what is the threat now? What is the threat now? White takes this one. Yeah, and take this one, right? Yeah. So he will play bishop to d6. Okay, bishop to d6. After that, if castles, that is actually, if castles that is not going to work here, castling here, the castling, then you can black also come with f5. Okay, and yeah, okay, there are a lot of other things. Yeah. So this is the implications of knight c3 move. Understood? So the correct move is bishop c4. Okay, bishop c4. And if you play, now we were discussing knight c3. No, we have left one variation. Knight c3. If knight f6, bishop c4, knight d5. Here you don't need to take it. Sometimes some players play a tricky move like bishop takes f7. Instead of taking this, they will take on f7, then takes it. After that, they will take knight. But still, this is not a preferable variation for white, because knight d5, knight to g5 check, king here. Even though black is slightly difficult when it comes to the king safety, no, but still it can manage here because of a very powerful center. Okay, see, look at this
Yes, sir.
center.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for black. So for
Yes, sir.
example, if white castles, knight have to play knight here, h6, and knight have to go here, and straight away this is not a good possibility at all. Bishop g4 is coming, then e4 is coming. Okay, so this variation will not work. If you give sack also, it will not. So most of you are playing these variations. Please try to avoid it. Okay, you can play bishop c4. Okay, bishop c4, and after that, a black plays bishop c5. Okay, but apart of that, generally we will play some mistake called knight f6 here. Yes or no? So many times after warning you don't play knight f6, most of the players will play knight f6 here, which is going to be trouble. The instant trouble is knight to g5, which is
Having
the
the
instant problem on
forks.
f7, right? The
Yes, from
problem
the
here
queen and the
is,
rook.
it is having a solution, but people don't find the right variation to defend it. Okay, some will play queen e7. Queen e7 will not work. Okay, queen e7 will not work. Sorry, what happened? Children, wait a minute.
Yes.
Okay, queen e7 will not work because knight check, bishop check. Okay, king moves and bishop will come over here, and next move it is giving check here. And you are losing the rook also. Okay, so the correct variation to defend it is correct move is d5. Okay, after d5, pawn takes pawn. Okay, now also most people find this answer, I mean d5, but the continuation is very difficult. No, you should not play knight takes d5. If you play knight takes d5, let's see what happens. Knight takes d5, there is an interesting sack for white. Okay, that is that we have any simple variation called knight fried liver attack, it is called. Okay, knight takes f7. Okay, knight takes f7. Okay, and we will see you can take it. Okay, because you have to take it because it is 4, right? You have to take it. Yes, it comes with, now queen comes to f3 and attacks both on the, sorry, what is happening? One minute, children. Yeah, knight takes queen f3, and the problem here is now king have to, you gave a piece, right? And you are getting a piece on d5. The normal way is you can let the opponent take the piece. Okay, and that is also losing because you lost an extra pawn, right? King moves to here, then what happens? And queen can take on d5, right? And bishop can take on d5 or something. So the interesting variation comes is king on e6 to defend the piece. Black is straight away a piece up, but if he manage to defend, he will win, right? Yeah, but here there is a difficult issue is to defend is white have a ferocious attack knight c3. Okay, now there are two defenses for it. Now there are how many attacks on d5 square? Tell me. How many attacks are there on d5 square? d5 knight.
Three attacks.
Three attacks are there. Okay. I think Vihan is not getting any sound. From here, I don't have any issues.
Sir, I'm getting, sir.
You are able to, Vihan,
Yes.
can you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now there are two options. Now there are three attacks on the knight. One is queen, one is knight and a bishop, right? So now let's see, you know, there are two defenses here. There are two defenses here. One is knight to e7. Okay. And knight to b4. Okay. Now let's see both of them. Knight to e7. Okay. What happens? We will see. You can play d4. Okay. Pawn takes. You can play bishop f4. This is a very interesting line. Very interesting line. You know, you can sacrifice everything and develop. Okay. Now see, this is very dangerous. I mean, every time this is getting problem. Yeah. Okay. Here there is, you can give off everything like, I mean, try to mate the opponent. There are some games. This is an interesting variation. This interesting variation will try to see some games. Okay. You know,
Yes.
at some point. Okay. And see, this is what happens. He gave almost two pieces here. Okay. But the problem here is, look at it. Okay. Now, the rook, look at this, and this rook is also coming here, and there is very dangerous possibilities are there.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Pradyumna, I could not able to take your call. I mean, in this. So I told you, when you come to the class, you have to come. That's it. No other things.
Sir, I had no link, sir, to join. That's why I called you. Then
Every
later
time the link is same.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. That's
you
why I
don't
joined.
need to ask the same. It is the same link we are giving for every class. There is the same link. Okay. Now don't need to ask again and again. That is the same link we are giving. Okay. Now in this variation, we will see lot of games, but it is very interesting. Okay. The people who really want to attack, they can try this. Okay. But the people who don't want to play risky games, just we will select another thing. Okay. Now, knight g5. Okay. d5, pawn takes d5. Knight takes d5. We have discussed, no? knight f6, knight g5, pawn d5, pawn takes d5, knight takes d5. One more variation also we will see after takes, queen f3, queen king e6, knight c3, knight b4 also is there variation, through which he will again play a3. He will sacrifice this rook, okay, and he can continue the game. Knight takes d5. Then he brings the rook on e1, so and so. Okay, so this is interesting, but you need to do lot of, you need to play a lot of games on it to get a good idea on this. Okay, I will try to show some games related in these variations particularly. Okay, first I want to give you the introduction on these things. Okay. Okay, now children, people who are just beginners like Neerav, this is really a big confusion. Please watch this video again. You will get clarity. Okay. Now, that is why what we are doing, knight f6, you can avoid it. Okay. Avoid knight f6. Even if you play knight f6, knight g5 comes, d5 takes it. You should not play knight takes d5. Instead, you can play knight a5. Okay, knight a5. Now, if bishop goes over something like here, then no problem. You can simply take it. Okay, pawn takes, then you can take with the knight. Sorry, queen. Okay, now takes it. Now go back, no problem. Got it? Yeah. Or you can take with knight also. No problem. Now, okay. If he don't take, if he comes like a bishop d5 check, which is generally people will do. They won't go to b6, just like that. Then you can play c6. Again, you have to give a pawn here. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. So you are, this is a pawn down variation for black, because to avoid that knight takes f7, you have to play this move. Okay. And knight a5, bishop to e2. Bishop to e2 is one variation which you can play, because if he goes to somewhere like something here, that is not much useful. But there is an interesting move here. Instead of that, you can play something interesting, that is queen f3. Queen f3. What is the idea? Tell me, children. If the knight, if pawn kills the
Sir,
bishop.
we can take the
Sir,
we can take
it
the
goes to the c6 and it will give check plus
Yeah.
rook, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways. So, but still he can defend it. I mean, you can defend it, not a big problem. You can simply, I mean, you can simply play like bishop to d7, like something like that, and okay. But still, you have to move the bishop to the same variation. Okay, same e2 or something. Okay, but it's just a tricky move, but not that great move. So the correct move is bishop e2. You can come to bishop e2 and you can. Okay. So now, so you get clarity about this, but I seriously recommend you to watch this again to avoid some confusions. Okay. Now, so we have already saw this e4, e5, knight f3, bishop c4, and knight f6. Knight f6 was we saw. So I seriously, if you are playing black, the best move here, which we recommend, is bishop c5, which also we have told you in the general openings. First మనకి ఏదైతే general openings we have given, in that general openings also we have gave that. But the thing here is if he plays like a knight c3, okay, knight c6, okay, knight c, sorry, yeah, knight c3, knight c3. Sorry, what happened? Knight c3 and knight f6. Pawn d3. d4 we can't play because there are 3 attacks here and only 2 defenses. d3. Okay. Now what the opponent will do? The opponent will probably play h6 to avoid bishop to g5, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He will again play something like d6. And you also, I mean, you sorry, you will do castling. And he will also play d6. Okay. And again, you will simply play something like h3 to avoid bishop g4. Yeah. Yes or no? Yeah. And bishop, he will play something like he will do castling. Yeah. And you will play bishop e3. So this is the sorry, this is the opening. Some of you have played, right? Right. Yeah. Then bishop takes, or bishop here, and d4. Right? Pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop takes, queen takes. This is the variation. Yes or no? Okay. Instead of that, we are giving you a slightly refined edition. That is, here instead of knight c3, you can play a move called c3. c3 to push the idea of d4. Okay. But the drawback of this is, then where this knight will go? Yes. Where this knight will go? If you are playing knight to pawn to c3, where this knight will go? Yeah, this is important. We will learn. Now, let's see. c3, knight f6. If you play knight f6, okay, you can play d3 here. Okay, you can play d3 here. But now you don't need to be afraid of bishop g4 or anything. I will tell you what is the variation now. We'll see. Pawn h6. He is playing pawn h6 to avoid this one. bishop g4. Okay, castles d6. Okay, now knight bd2. Okay, bishop to g4, which black can play. Okay, it's a common move, right? You don't need to worry. You can move the queen here also, no problem here. Yeah, queen to here also, or queen to here also, no problem. Why? The knight is entirely protected there. Rook e1, castles, knight to gf1. Knight to f1 is a very interesting variation. Knight to f1 gives chance. Sorry, knight to f1 gives chance. Sorry, here is this. Yeah, knight to f1 gives chance to play some interesting variations that are called something like you know, having problem with this mouse. Now he defends that bishop g4 in a different way. Now he can also bring the bishop here after killing. Okay, knight will come over here. Okay, it also aims in this square, okay, and slowly push d4 also timely. Okay, so not readily. D4 is very slowly he will bring that. Okay, because knight f6 is waiting to take it. So now let's see. So queen d7. Sorry. Queen d7. h3. Bishop h5. And knight g3 is also a possibility. Okay. Now bishop g6. Okay. From here, there are a lot of ways possible. You can play bishop e3. You can play something else like you can play queen b3 from white side. Black has a problem. There is no problem for black also. Black can also simply play d5. Okay. Black can also play an interesting move like a6 and b5. Here, black plays a6. If black plays a6, okay, and we will see the sub variations also. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, there is also variations like you can see like e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, and c3. And here you can play, if he plays knight f6, we have already saw. Let's see if he plays h6, what he will do. Okay, now this is a very bad move. Simply we can go with hit on d4 immediately. Knight f6 kaakunda inke move vesina gani you can play d4 immediately. Pawn takes d4, pawn takes d4. Okay, bishop to b5 check, knight c3. Okay, knight c3, knight f6. Here you can give a pawn, you can push the pawn, you can sacrifice, let him come on e4 and pin it, no problem. Okay, takes a knight to e4. Now there is a pin on it, but you don't need to worry. White sacrifice the pawn for attack. Castles, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight. Okay, if it takes it, and here comes a deadly move, bishop queen to b3. Idea?
Sir,
Bishop
because
takes
if he moves
F7.
anyone means we
Yes.
can go to bishop to F6.
Now let's see, for
F7.
example, if we take what happens, we will see. Okay. If we take what happens. Okay. Bishop takes F7. King F8. Okay.
Bishop A3.
Bishop A3 check. Pawn D6. Pawn takes D6. Pawn takes D6. Bishop here idea.
For the
Checkmate,
queen
sir.
C7. Sorry,
Queen
queen
F7
F8.
mate.
F7
Yeah.
checkmate.
F7
How
mate.
can you
Yeah.
defend it? One is
Sir, by
queen
keeping
D7.
D7. Queen to D7.
Sir,
C
Queen
Queen to
E7,
D7 or
sir.
queen to C7. Okay, queen to
Yes, sir.
C7. If queen to C7, okay, queen to E7 also loses, queen to C7 also loses. If queen to C7, tell me children how it will lose.
Sir, because the queen will be kept
No,
Sir,
near.
Bishop takes
instantly.
D6. Bishop takes D6.
Huh?
Bishop into D6.
Yes, bishop into D6. Pawn take, queen takes means queen F7 checkmate.
He have to take it. Otherwise, something
The
else.
queen is gone. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is how the powerful variation, if we place unnecessary moves, black will lose immediately, children. Understood? Let's see this variation again. Okay. E4, E5. Okay. Knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, bishop C5. Okay. Pawn C3. మనం ఏం చూసాం H6 వేరియేషన్ చూసాం. H6 pawn D4, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Bishop check, knight C3. Okay. Knight C3, knight F6, castling, sorry, pawn E5. Now there is no, I mean, there is no good moves here. If knight G4, H3 will come, no? Yes. So knight E4, you have to go back or you have to come E4. Okay. Knight take castles. Okay. Knight takes knight. Pawn takes. Now here, either bishop have to go to E7. If it takes it, queen B3 is there. Now you have to give the, if you take it, that is a mistake. Okay. This is what happens. Okay. Okay. Now we will see what black have to play for this kind of thing. Okay. Okay. If it takes it here, A3, pawn takes, and here loses.
Sir,
Yeah.
if king comes to E7,
Kings comes to E7. How king can come to E7? Now tell me. Here. Where? Where he will come to E7? Here.
yes, sir.
Here also bishop E6, bishop E7 is A3 is already there, no?
Yeah,
Sir,
sir.
bishop
He will
A3,
go
then we
back to
push pawn to
F8 only.
D6.
But here the interesting thing is, if he comes here, bishop A not king E7. The problem here is, here also bishop A3 will come. After pawn takes, after here, pawn here. Yes. Okay. Pawn takes. Okay. And pawn takes. Again, rook is also coming here. Again, you have to go F8, no? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So this is much more horrible, no? Why are we bringing the rook unnecessarily? Yes. Now let's go. What happens? Okay. Now. Okay. There is a problem on D4. d3, and here you can play d4, pawn takes d4, pawn takes d4. Okay, and c3 there is one more variation is there without playing c3 here. Actually, I'll tell you. Here, most of them have saw this gambit called Ewing's gambit d4. Okay, b4 is also there. If it takes it, okay, that gambits we will see, but I will tell you b4 means you will play c3 and bishop a5, then d4 he will come, but we will see that Ewing's gambit later. Okay, but yeah, c3, knight f6. If you play something like a d4, directly d4, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Okay, bishop check. Here, knight c3. Okay, knight into e4. Here, white gives two pawns for attack. Okay, if you don't want to give pawns, you can simply play bishop b2, something like that. Okay. If you don't want to give the pawn, simply play bishop b2. Okay. What happened? Sorry. Oh my God. Bishop d2, bishop takes d2. Knight takes d2. Okay. So this is simple. Black can play d6 and they can simply play the game. Okay. And if you play something like pawn takes bishop b4, knight c3 is also an interesting variation where black gives white gives two pawns. Okay, knight into e4. Now castles. Knight takes knight. Pawn takes knight. Okay, bishop takes. Again, queen b3 comes. If he takes it, bishop g5. Sorry, if he takes it, first bishop takes f7. King f8. Now bishop g5 check, bishop g5. Now this is very powerful. Bishop g5 only move is knight to e7. Okay, knight to e5. Pawn to d6, pawn, bishop to d. Yeah, here there are a lot of variations. Let's see. Pawn to d6. No, we will see bishop to d4, which is interesting. Knight to g6 check. Pawn takes. Bishop here. Yeah. And again, f7 checkmate. Okay. d5, you have to play d5 to block it, block the checkmate. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now queen to f3. Okay. Now king, if it goes, king goes g8, then queen f7 mate. Yes. So only move is
Yes, sir.
bishop to f5.
Bishop to f5, f8.
Yeah. Bishop
Yeah.
takes f5. Okay. This is a clearly winning possibility. Yeah. This is clearly winning possibility for white. Okay. Even though it is piece up for black, but still this is extremely difficult to play this. Okay, how can he defend it? I mean, these two bishops are very, very powerful, and it is very intense here. Rook e1 is also coming, and you can't defend all the time here. And now comes next again, bishop g6 is coming with check. Okay. And how do you defend it now? Yeah. So this is very difficult to defend it. Okay, anyways. Now let's see black defenses. If how can you defend from black if you play this kind of variations? Okay. What is the black's mistake? Taking free pawns. Okay. Here, if it takes it, okay, if he plays d4, okay, pawn takes it, pawn takes it. Okay. I mean, one minute. Yeah, you take it. After taking this, if he castles, okay, take bishop takes. You took one pawn. No, don't get greedy here. Simply take it. After takes this, takes this, simply play d5. Okay. So bishop moves to b3. Then do castling immediately. Do castling immediately. Okay. So that if you don't do castling immediately, this bishop is coming to a3 and stop your castling. Okay. Very important move. Okay. Don't take the pawn there. Okay. You have to do castling immediately. Okay. Then slowly you can develop your pieces. Bishop g4, you can bring. Black can bring bishop g4. And it will be fine. Slowly. Okay. And this is slowly you can play. Queen will go to queen to d3 or something. Bishop g4 you can play. I mean, black will play something like that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how. So I think there will be doubts, but you have to watch it again. So far, what is there any doubt? There are a lot of variations in there here.
Nothing.
No
That's why,
doubt, sir.
yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah. So I gave you some powerful variations to play some exciting chess. Yeah. Some then we will see more deeply, because this itself is very heavy for you. Yes or no? Yeah. ఇది
Yeah.
ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ చూడండి. Okay. So we'll stop sharing. We'll close it for here.